Alright, I'm going to show you today how to save a lot of money and a lot of hassle. Because if you're like me, you either don't know exactly which wicks to get, or you're going to end up buying all the different wicks and from the wrong supplier and maybe even different manufacturers, especially if you use Amazon. It's kind of hard. Wicks you need to test certain size vessels with certain size waxes. Now, I'm going to use BW-908 today, which is what's in here. And we're going to choose the wick type sizes that should burn with a 50-50 paraffin soy wax blend and a 2.9 vessel, 3.0 inch vessel, and a 3.15 vessel. That's going to be between. And all of these wicks, we chose the CD wicks, and that range is going to be from CD 12 to CD 16. All right, we have that. So we're going to start off with CD 14 in the middle. The CDN is from 12 to 16 as well. There's also, it's advised. So we're going to start off with this CDN 14. Now we're going to go to the Eco system. The Eco wicks are from size 12, 14, and 16 as well. We're going to mid-range that one in at number 3. And for our fourth one, we're going to bring in a Premier 700 series wick. Now, 3 of these 4 wicks types I bought from Black Tie Barn from Wade Thomas. He's awesome. He also has YouTube videos, teaches a lot of content. I'm going to use, he told me, or his website said the 760, 765, and 770 is probably what I would need, because I'm going to go ahead and test Black Obsidian Sugar. All right, see, the Obsidian Sugar, which is a pretty heavy oil, so I like to add an extra wick up higher. ChatGPT said it'd go from 10 to 14, but I went from 12 to 16, and we're going to test 765 for that one. All right, so we've made and poured our test candles, and we've already wicked our wicks with the number 1 I have marked here with pencil. If you can see, I don't know if you can see it. It says number 1. Look how smooth these tops are. They pour awesome. That was our CD14 wick. Number 2, perfect top still. Mark number 2. That's our CDN wick. Now, CD and CDN are different wicks. Remember that. They burn completely different. This is number 3. Look at that top. And number 4. All right, so after these cure just a few more days, we'll be ready to have the perfect burn test. You want them to let them cure because you want them to burn as they'd be used, not the fresh soft wax ahead of time, because that might be burned different, or it might make it burn hotter later. Now remember, these are wickless candles. We can take out the wick and change it if it does change. That's why I've got a size bigger and a size smaller for each one of these wicks we're using.
A minor malfunction came about. The microphone died, and I forgot to check it. We are going to make 4 test candles today, each 7 ounces of wax net weight. We are going to use 8% fragrance oil, so that means we need 92% of the net weight. If our candles are 7 ounces each, we will have to multiply 7 by 4, and that gives us 28 ounces. Our total wax weight is 25.76 ounces. Weigh it out on a kitchen scale for an accurate measurement. Weighing the fragrance oil out at 2.24 ounces. We are using Black Tie Barn's Obsidian Sugar Oil. Now that we have everything weighed out and the wax is melting, we can take 91% rubbing alcohol and clean our vessels really well. Use gloves to keep finger oils off the glass. This keeps dust and oils in glass, so the wax can have great adhesion to the glass. I like to hear that squeaky clean sound. Make sure you don't leave dust from the paper towels behind. You can soak it pretty good and let it air dry. Make sure no alcohol is left in the vessel when you pour the wax. Now the wax has reached 185 degrees. We're going to add our candle dye now. The color mix is 1 part blue, 1 part red. 7 parts black dye drops in this batch, that's 2 blue drops, 2 red drops, and 14 black dye drops from Black Tie Barn. I find these to be the best quality candle dyes on the market. Now it's time to add the fragrance oil. This is my favorite part. This obsidian sugar smells so amazing. We stir the oil into the wax at 180 degrees. We stir the mix for 2-minute minimum. This makes sure the oil is bonding with the wax properly. Checking the temperature of the wax till it reaches 165 degrees, then it's time to pour. I like to mark my vessels with a pencil to the fill level. These should have a net weight of 7 ounces. That's 198.4 grams. Pour at a slow but steady pace for great tops and adhesion. I love the midnight purple color of the wax. After I've filled the vessels to the marks, I divide what's left over between the 4 candles. Use a clean paper towel to dry up the leftover wax in your pouring pot. Then spray it with the alcohol and use the paper towel to clean it inside and out. Stage the candles for cooling in a temperature-controlled environment with no drafts or fans. The ambient temperature should be around 70 to 75 degrees. Look how smooth those tops are. I love BW-908 wax. Now we're going to add our wick samples to the candles. We have a centering tool to get the perfect center. I cut 3-inch samples from each type and mark the vessels with a number to associate with the wick types. This is how I use my wick centering tool to find the center of the wickless candles. This tool is adjustable, so I'm locking in the precise adjustments needed. I slide the rod down I use to puncture the hole with. I make sure that the hole is centered and goes to the bottom. Now we place the wick sample in the hole and make sure it goes to the bottom. Make sure to not mix up the wicks. Now repeat this with the other 4 candles.
All right. As you see, now we're going to get to the burn test part. I've trimmed all of the wicks down to down to a 1/4 inch, or between a 1/4 inch and an 1/8 inch, but around a 1/4 inch. I placed them right here with the wick chart, or each one of these test chart pages, and the direction they are matching the numbers. It says the start size is 14 and 765. All right. Now, we're going to go ahead and write down, it is 2:38. So we're going to go ahead and write down 2:40, because by then all of them will be lit. And we're going to go ahead and proceed with the wick test. Now, before I did that, I placed them all at least 8 inches apart. I have this 8-inch ruler. They're 8 inches in between, so that way none of the hot air in between surfaces between and starts and messes with the pool. The flames can react with each other, just like when the smoke goes up, you can relight it and it goes down. They react with each other when they're too close, so you have to have them at least 8 inches apart. All right, now we're going to start with number 1. And lights. After we get all these 2, number 2, and lights. This is mark number 3. This is the Eco series. This is our CD, our CDN, our Eco, and this is going to be our Premier 700 series 765. Now I'm hoping these are right. This is the first time testing with all these wicks and using these wicks, but I'm going to show you what happens when you're using and you have to use new things. But I promise you, these are quality products because I ordered them from somewhere I've been ordering my other candle supplies from, Black Tie Barn. All right, we're 5 minutes into the burn. As you notice, you want to take this time to look and see if it's got a steady flame, roughly around hopefully 3/4 to an inch tall, maybe no more than an inch and a half. To start off with that first 5 minute burn, maybe around a quarter sized melt pool. If you notice, all of these got roughly around the same size melt pool. Now this one's slightly smaller than this one, but this one's flame's bigger than this one. If you notice, that's really cool to show you how wicks work and how fire works. This one's got a wider heat band than this one is going, and this one's probably deeper. These two are almost identical, which is our CD series and our CDN series. But we can't really tell much right now. Like I said, it's just 5 minutes into the burn, but you got to write down and note the characteristics to see if it's steady already or if it's going to try and burp and jump and catch flame or spark or die down. So now the next part we'll do is we'll check in at the 1 hour mark. All right, we're at the hour mark. We're going to go ahead and take our infrared thermometer and we're going to test the outsides of the jars, starting with number 1. All right, we got 100 degrees. All right. Take our full metal thermometer, make sure it's not got the cork on the back. And we'll go ahead and 2.5 inch melt pool. Same thing for the other vessels. I like to turn it sideways, I get a little bit of a better reading. We got 95 on the CDN. Two and 3/4 melt pool. And the flame's about an inch. All right, the Eco. We're at 103. We have almost a complete melt pool, and it's about an inch in flame as well. Last but not least, the Premier 765. We're at 99 degrees. There we go. And that's the hour-long test. Now we'll come back and check again in another hour at the 2 hour mark. Here we are coming up on hour 4. These matched pretty much all the way for the first 2 hours. It was hard to tell which ones would be failing or passing. There is a clear winner for the first burn test so far for the first layer, but we don't know if that'll always go through. But burn test number 1, we're going to start with candle number 1 here. If you look, it's been dancing and flickering like that. So it's not getting proper fuel consumption and burn process if it does that too much. It could be worse, but if you also see there's a big mushroom on there. It's just bouncing around. All right, so that's number 2. These are the specs. We got to 125, but it's also got a really deep melt pool. I don't know if you can see that, but it's over 1/2 inch deep. All right, candle number 2, CDN. This has a steady burn. Melt pool reaches the walls. You can barely see it kind of showing up around the edges here for the first burn, which is about where we want it. Because if it's got a deep melt pool like one of these, or that, which are finger thick, it'll be too hot later. But this one, obviously, I think is the clear winner for burn test number 1. It's steady fired this whole time, no smoke, no soot, nothing. And that is the CDN 14 series, CDN from Black Tie Barn. Here's Black Tie Barn's Premier 700 series, 765. It's got a little bit of mushroom, nothing too bad. Running kind of steady. And it's not getting too hot. The specs, it got to 115 just a second ago, which means it shouldn't burn too hot, and it's throwing. So the second in line would be the 765. Now, this one's flame is getting way too big. It just started doing that when it got about 3.5 hours, maybe 3. So the Eco and the CD are out. Number 1 is CDN. Number 2 is the Premier. All right, now this is just the first burn test. We got to do 3 more. All right, after we did the blowout, only one candle was able to have decent blowout time with limited smoke. That was the CDN. It was an all-around star. The candle 1 CD series, if you can't tell, has mushrooming happening, splitting out everywhere. It was obviously overwicked at other times. If it was 125 the first burn, it's going to be way over 140 at the bottom. It had flickering and bounce, which means it didn't have consistent burning. The deep melt pool, it had a half-inch melt pool, quarter-inch. It also had the mushrooming. Alright, now the Eco series, it didn't have any mushrooming, but it was overwicked because it had a deep melt pool, the flicker and the bounce and the high flame, half-inch deep melt pool, so it was just burning too hot. Now this candle, some of these candles are starting to frost after they burn. Has slight mushrooming, but that's okay for the amount that goes on there. We could go down with this to the 760 to get rid of that mushrooming to fine tune it, but you want to do a scent throw test after that. And then, like, here's the CDN. See, no mushrooming at all. It's got just that tiny bit of lip right there where it goes, and that would run off. Didn't overheat. Had steady flame the whole time. Full melt pool at 3 hours, 3-inch vessel pretty much. It did have a full melt pool, and it was starting to show around the outsides. A little bit see-through. And that's all we did for the first round series, and that's the outburn of it. Now what I'm going to end up doing is keeping this one and burning it more and testing it 2 more burns. Then I'm going to wick these ones down, these 2, go down 1. This one I'm going to burn 1 more time and see, make sure if I have to wick down or not. Let's see. Let me put a question mark there. We know this one is on point, on track, is the way we want and healthy to go. If you like what you saw and you enjoyed the content, go ahead and hit like, hit subscribe, and leave a comment. Maybe leave me a question about another video I could do. And I'll be glad to do some more content about it.